Hi, I'm Nat.
And I'm Guy.
And I'm back, but I'm still iffy. Still feeling pretty sick, congested. I've been in bed for basically this whole time, so sorry that there's no videos or anything. También hoy no va a haber sección en español porque no me da la vida, la cabeza ni la energía para hacer investigación y sacar algo en español, pero mañana prometo, pero voy a estar aquí durante el live and I'll be mostly just letting Guy talk, but I'll be here at least.
You'll do some of the talking.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to get into it or do you want to do a Spanish segment tonight?
No, I just said I'm not doing a Spanish segment.
Okay.
Walker, thank you for being here. I'm better and he's good. So thank you for asking.
And we're going to go over to the Green Monster after we do culture on YouTube because YouTube does not like us talking politics. I got a lot of big stories tonight. Part of the reason why we went to Rumble is so we could speak freely. And tonight's one of those nights we actually need that power to speak freely.
And you mentioned the name right away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's go into the Minecraft movie.
Oh, right. There we go. So Minecraft movie blasts to 551 million global before the international box office. Where am I? There I am.
Okay, well, this is huge because this is on pace to be like when the Marvels? No, not
The Marvels?
Marvel Cinematic Universe was big. So it's on track to hit $1 billion.
Endgame.
I have no doubt it's going to hit $1 billion. It also made 80, how much? 80 million domestically. So that's also huge. That's a lot more than Snow White cleared it in its entire time in theaters. So, and it still has a lot of hoopla of what's going on in theaters. Kids are doing all kinds of antics. We've already kind of reviewed this, but they're throwing popcorn all over the cinema in mass. Young kids are taking over the cinema, bringing barn animals, taking off their clothes, making a lot of viral TikTok moments. So that's driving audience attendance to this movie.
But I mean, is that a good thing? And here maybe my former, it wasn't really a teacher, I was a youth advisor, but my former youth advisor that worked at high schools for about 5 years comes out and wants to tell them, hey, this is not respectful towards the people that work at the theater. This is not a good way to, create a viral moment if you're actually going to be annoying and imposing on other people's lives and jobs, and it is not their job to pick up after your chicken and after your own popcorn.
Okay. We've already heard all these talking points before.
I know, but, well, you wanted me to talk. Here I am talking. I have like this much patience right now because I don't feel well, so careful. And again, my counselor, youth advisor self is coming out.
Okay, well, anyway, Minecraft has ended up being huge. There's definitely going to be a sequel to this movie. It wasn't the best directed movie, but it really has something to it. All the memes they threw into it are really appealing to a new generation. This could be good, could be bad. This could be the new equation that studios start going to, is throwing a ton of memes into movies. And I think that would get old very quick. But
Yes.
Do you want to go into the next story there?
Sure. So Pedro Pascal on the really intimidating process of embodying Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four First Steps. And this also comes as part of the news that we didn't really touch on. Well, maybe you touched on it. I don't remember if I did. But on the news that apparently Fantastic Four will also be examining gender roles. And in the original series in the comics, Reed Richards is supposed to be this womanizer, this like suave guy that has all the girls, but now they're trying to make him into this evolved human being from the beginning. So he was kind of like an Iron Man in the way that he behaved, and then Iron Man learned, and then he ended up being, this person that ended up saving the entire universe because of him sacrificing himself. But now they're making this dude, instead of evolve within the movies or become a better person, they're making him a better person and evolved already. So it loses any kind of character development that could have been interesting for anybody to watch.
And yeah, before we go on, I'm trying some new things with the sound, so I can't monitor it tonight. If there is anything wrong with the sound, please let us know immediately so we can fix it.
Yes.
But I think everything should be good.
Hopefully.
I primarily put Pedro Pascal in there just because he has been in everything lately, and they're using him in overkill mode, trying to make him the modern day superstar, and he just doesn't have that superstar appeal or that. I don't even think the moderates still know who he is. He's been in everything. They'll kind of say he's familiar looking, but I don't think he's like, they haven't been able to push him through the ceiling into superstar status.
Yeah, and he is annoying as well. So.
Yeah, like he seems like a feminine version of, oh God, what's the other guy that was in Sicario?
I don't know. I didn't watch Sicario, so.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, Pedro Pascal, I'm kind of over him. They have to pay him big money to be in these movies, and I just feel like you could have got a lot more for your money by leaving him out of the movie.
Yeah, so. And I mean, just make the version that people are familiar with, that people like. Don't try to evolve your characters and make the female character be a Mary Sue and make the male character all evolved and all knowing and have no flaws, because that now they're just making the male characters as boring as the female ones.
Well, and I'm feeling like they're just putting him in here because he's paid his woke dues. Mm-hmm. So Hollywood loves him because he's woke, and I think middle America doesn't really know how woke he actually is, so they're willing to casually support him. Yeah. Okay, let's go over to the next one. And this is the No Fakes.
So No Fakes Act reintroduced in Congress with support from Google, RIAA, and more. And
we're going to talk a lot about stuff like this on the Green Monster. That's RUMBLE after the cultural segment on YouTube. And this is going into the political realm, I guess, but I really don't like this. The No Fakes Act is they want no artificial intelligence fakes. I don't think this is really protecting stars and things that are in the bill. I think this is more for politicians, and I think this can be used in the general public and not the best way. I know what's Trump's wife's name? Melania. I believe was highly involved in helping press this act forward. But I feel like the freedoms of the general public are much more important, and you have to be really light-handed when you start passing sweeping laws like this.
Mm-hmm. It says the Recording Academy's Grammys on the Hill Advocacy Day culminated on Wednesday with a press conference on Capitol Hill with senators blah, 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 to announce the reintroduction of the No Fakes Act, standing for Nurture Originals, Foster Art, and Keep Entertainment Safe. The bipartisan bicameral bill is intended to advance creators' rights by protecting their voices and likeness from the unauthorized creation and use of digital replicas. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and you can see the way they're framing this, and their politicians very often get certain industries to try to put these bills forward so it looks like it's not for the actual politicians themselves. Now, in this particular case, they're using the record industry and the film industry, but I just feel like this has the potential to be extremely overreaching. And a couple of the stories we're going to cover on Rumble, I'm starting to get a lot of red flags from the Trump administration, and I am a longtime supporter so far of Trump. So for me to be kind of blowing the whistle on what's been going on in this administration, this is just kind of another layer of things that could go wrong.
And we did speak about some of the things that could go wrong. But I mean, at the same time, while it's inevitable, it would be good if it could be, stopped.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm also going to say you're in an AI war with some of the other largest superpowers right now. I don't want to get too political right now, but if you start hindering your AI, and I know this is just for deep fakes and fakes and things like this, but it sets a precedent to start limiting AI. If the U.S. limits their AI, China and Russia are going to pull ahead easily. Mm-hmm. And we've seen this happen in the energy sector. The U.S. and Western countries hindered their energy performance, and now they're paying the consequences. While Russia and China bulldoze forward, building nuclear, coal plants, green energy. They really hit on all cylinders.
Yeah. And we talked about this before, but now they're back. So Blue Origin launches an all-female celebrity crew with Katy Perry, Gayle King, and Jeff Bezos' ugly wife, Lauren Sanchez.
Girl power. The only way they got up there was full automation. If anything would have went wrong, these girls wouldn't have known what to do. So it's kind of funny. They had to get on a fully automated spacecraft, and they had nobody actually piloting these things. And these women think they did something. They married somebody.
And they didn't even go that high up. I mean, I think Elon's thing goes. I don't like Elon that much, but his thing goes. That sounds funny. Goes farther out than Jeff. I mean, they just went up and down, didn't they?
Yeah, I think Elon gets much higher than these guys.
The rocket went up and down.
Yeah, I'm aware. But they're back and they're spouting feminist bullshit, how they did something. These girls did absolutely nothing. And
they went on a plane ride.
A couple of them actually have careers where they did something, but...
I mean, yeah, Katy Perry did at least used to sell a lot of records before. I mean, she has something to claim to her name, but
I really had a feeling that something might go wrong with this space journey.
Yeah.
So we had covered it a few times, and I just wanted to maintain the coverage, showing that they actually did make it back safely. So disappointingly, but
especially Gail King. HBO reveals first cast members for Harry Potter TV series, and the fans, or the actual fans' worst nightmare is upon us.
Okay, why don't you read a little bit of this? I want to see who they actually cast, maybe.
So Nick Frost, Papa Isidue, Janet McTeer, and Paul Whitehouse will appear in the forthcoming Harry Potter TV series. U.S. network HBO has confirmed. Frost has been cast as Hagrid, this guy. McTeer will play Minerva McGonagall. And Isidue will portray Severus Snape. All three were reported to be in talks with the network in recent weeks. And if you haven't heard, there's this whole hoopla going about, especially Snape's casting, because as many of you may remember, if you watched the movies, or even better, if you read the books, that Snape is supposed to have sullen, sallow skin, which means very pale, kind of like how I look right now. Kind of sickly looking, and just is described in general as having grayish, pale, white skin. And I mean, I know we shouldn't be focusing on blah, 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 because we all should be woke and we all should be above that. But characterization is important, especially when Severus Snape was played so masterfully by Alan Rickman, who unfortunately passed away. I mean, those are big shoes to fill, and to decide to, I mean, maybe they were trying to go in a different way to not even come close to touching Alan Rickman's legacy, but still a lot of people are incensed, a lot of fans. Other ones are celebrating, the ones that hate J.K. Rowling. And
is J.K. Rowling involved in this or no?
Sort of. She has she has to be involved with everything, because in when she first created the whole Harry Potter thing, she put it into the contract that she had to be involved with anything that would come out from that intellectual property. So yes, she is involved, and I think she's involved more heavily than people think, and more heavily than HBO wants to reveal, because HBO obviously wants to keep it quiet that she's more involved than she is, which happened with the parks as well.
But I also think the culture is shifting, and the fact that she's involved is going to actually hugely benefit the series now. Even if there is a backlash, I think that's just going to bring media exposure to this new series, and it may drive conservatives to it. Although there's starting to be a bit of a backlash right now based upon casting and some script leaks and things like this. It looks like it may be a little woke, but there's still time to change it, still time to refine it. And I think studios are starting to feel the cultural change.
Mm-hmm. And I also don't love, hold on, let me see if I can.
It's going to be interesting to see who they cast in the major roles, because I don't think they've done them.
Well, they announced John Lithgow, who's this guy.
Yeah. Actually, I don't mind him. Like, he obviously,
but as possible for, let me see if, will play Dumbledore, which I don't think he's like up to par to play Dumbledore. And they still haven't announced Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger, like the other big major ones. But I mean, of course, you can't get all the iconic cast from back then, because it was the 90s, and a lot of them sadly have passed away, with McGonagall. What was the actress's name? well, the actress that played McGonagall recently passed away. She was also an icon, but I mean, you could even maybe get the old ones to play the older characters now. And like, I'd be way more forgiving if, for example, Daniel Radcliffe were to play Severus Snape. Like, I would be okay with that.
He hasn't done much with his career, so I would feel like...
he wanted to do a lot of independent stuff, and he had alcohol issues as well. But he did, I think, wanted to get away from the whole fantasy realm. And we do have some comments that I was just looking over. So Jason Montoya says, so the movie G20 was visionary. Pretty much. We haven't talked about it. I know what it's about. That
What's
movie
G20?
Remember I showed you it has Viola Davis in it? It's a movie, I think it's from Netflix, where Viola Davis is now the first female black president, but now they go to a G20 meeting and they're trying to capture her, and like they have to extract her, and she ends up becoming this like boss, bitch, and like ending them all because she's so great.
Yeah, they wrote that thinking something different was going to happen. Kamala was going to win, but yeah. Who's going to run House of Hufflepuff? Are you?
Huh?
Are you going to run House of Hufflepuff?
He doesn't know anything about Harry Potter, so he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I always say you're Hufflepuff.
But I'm not a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, you're a Hufflepuff.
No.
Okay, keep going.
I've been sorted. I was that nerdy when I was little. I've been sorted both into Slytherin and Ravenclaw. So.
But you're just a Hufflepuff in disguise.
No.
Okay.
Maui Yoga and Wellness says, ya no llegué a la sección en español. Da gusto verlos bien, chicos. He says, I didn't make it to the Spanish section. That's because there was no Spanish section. Sorry. My brain is still not working. I don't feel great when I talk. So for today, there wasn't a Spanish section. So sorry, but thank you for being here.
Yeah, and you've actually been really sick over the last week. So
I've been in bed.
Even once she's 100%, it's going to take us quite a while to catch up on our edited videos and things like that. We're kind of really behind.
Yes. And Walker says a bad character is going to be represented by a black guy. The thing is, now with the whole Harry Potter canon actually being well known by basically everybody, where Snape, and I mean, these are spoilers, but for a 20-year-old movie, Snape was actually always the good guy. He was there to protect Harry. He was always in love with Harry Potter's mother. So every action he did and his involvement within the bad guy with Voldemort's army was just to protect Harry and just to have an insider be in the bad guy's clan. What was Voldemort's? The Death Eaters. His involvement with the Death Eaters was
I think we can move on to the next story.
was just to protect Harry. So no, he's not a bad guy. That's the thing. Now everybody knows he's not a bad guy. So it's fine if a black guy can portray him. Yes. Mera. So Facebook. It's Patrick Collison?
Yeah,
Dina Powell McCormick to board of directors.
And I kind of just put this in here to show that Zuckerberg is really changing the inner workings of Meta right now. The next story is going to involve Meta, and it's probably has something to do with this lawsuit or has to do with this as well. But Dana White is on the board of Meta. He's also the CEO of UFC and one of the founders of the UFC. He's very, very close friends with Donald Trump. So I think he's probably in there helping rework the board and weed out a lot of the woke ideology and things like that. Meta's in some serious legal trouble right now. So, yeah.
You want me to read it or no?
Yeah, let's read a little bit of it.
Okay, so Patrick Collison, whatever his name is, and Dina Powell McCormick have been elected to Meta's board of directors. Collison is co-founder and CEO of financial technology company Stripe. While Powell McCormick is vice chair president and head of global client services at BDT and MSD Partners, no idea, and former deputy national security advisor for strategy to President Donald Trump during his first term. So they are connected to Trump.
Yeah, and this has to be coming from Dana White. I mean, he's the eyes and ears inside of Meta. And later on, when we go into the politics section, you're going to see a lot. We're going to talk about how a lot of there's a rift in Silicon Valley because a lot of tech CEOs and tech companies are beginning to align with the current administration. So Meta is one of those companies.
Mm-hmm. Let me swallow. That's the only thing I can eat right now, and sure. I feel like an old man. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg takes a stand in historic antitrust trial. So Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg took the witness stand on the first day of a historic antitrust trial to defend his company against allegations it illegally monopolized the social media market, which it probably did. The trial could force the tech giant to break off Instagram and WhatsApp, startups Meta bought more than a decade ago and have since grown into social media powerhouses. FTC attorney Daniel Matheson called Zuckerberg as the first witness as it seeks to prove that Meta acquired Instagram and WhatsApp to preserve its monopoly in the social networking space. At the trial, Matheson focused on a communication sent to colleagues that illustrated Zuckerberg's frustration with the lack of progress on developing a photo sharing app to compete with Instagram's.
Yeah, and I just don't feel like it's a monopoly, and that's kind of what they're doing with this antitrust. They want to break up the company, much like they did Microsoft. Microsoft, I could have considered a monopoly at the time. A lot of people didn't know the inner workings and the very large contracts they had, but we're talking about WhatsApp and what was the other company?
Instagram.
Instagram and then Facebook. Like these are, yes, WhatsApp is huge on the international market, especially here in Mexico, but
Everywhere.
It's not that big in Canada.
No, it's not big in Canada or the US, but literally every single other country, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, but
nobody uses actual messaging in any other country.
And then like Facebook, it doesn't have monopolistic properties.
No, but back then when they acquired them, yes, they did.
Yeah, I just feel like there's plenty.
And I've always hated that Meta controls Instagram and WhatsApp and a bunch of other services that people maybe don't even know about.
Yeah, but
because they ruined it as soon as they bought them.
Even once they get broken up, they still kind of collude together.
Well, that's the thing. But let them at least be slightly independent companies.
Okay. I think that was the last story for...
Yes, it's the last story on YouTube.
And most of our stories today are actually political stories, and I wanted to save them for RUMBLE. That's the Green Monster.
You already said it twice.
Well, you can come over there. Just look for Nat and the guy. We'll pop right up. So we kept it kind of short today because Nat's still recovering.
Yes, I feel like an old man. Yes, thank you so much. Hope you're enjoying your vacation if you are on vacation. If you're not, well, keep up the grind, I guess, as we are. And we'll see you over at RUMBLE for more political stuff. And hopefully tomorrow...
And there are some big political stories tonight.
Yeah, and hopefully tomorrow I'll come back with Spanish as well and eventually edited videos again once I don't sound like this. So see you there. Thank you. Because there's no more comments. I was waiting, but no more comments.
Okay.
So I'm ending it now.